It is Saturday, November 9th. I am driving down south about 3 hours to my son's football game. Again, it's just an opportunity for me to get out of town, get away from my situation, because I won't drive and spend the money on gas or anything just to give me a break and get away. I won't do that, but I very much look forward to doing this for my son's football game. So I will go down there, watch his game, and then my daughter unfortunately has to be in work at 5 o'clock. I won't be back by then, so she's going to Uber to work, but she gets out of work at 10:30, so I'll be back in time to pick her up when she's done with work. Also yesterday, November 8th, I had done a video that I was driving my daughter to work. We couldn't coordinate it because I still had to drive my son after I dropped my daughter off at work, so we couldn't coordinate it where she could take the car, leave me sitting in Wendy's for a few hours, and then I would just walk to work. So my daughter had to Uber after she got out of work yesterday because I was in work and I had the car. But again, just in your face, no help, no participation, no contribution. My daughter knows there's no help from dad. There's no going to dad. She Ubers rather than having any assistance from another adult who should be responsible. But that's just not there. In any event, maybe I'll try to get a little clip of his football game later and attach it onto this. I submitted a settlement agreement to Linda States in September of 2022. My settlement agreement was 5 pages, I believe. The first 4 pages outlined all of the items in the marriage that needed to have a resolution with like a brief paragraph or a sentence or whatever. The 5th page was a summary of actionable items. Basically, this amount due by this date kind of thing. So summary of actionable items. Along with my 5-page settlement agreement, I submitted to Linda States a 25-page trial brief. Now my trial brief was a full description of how I reached each conclusion in my settlement agreement. I titled it Trial Brief because I thought if we do not reach a conclusion or resolve this in a settlement agreement, right? I'm not a lawyer. I looked up what's the term, what's a good term? You prepare a trial brief for trial. So I figured, okay, I'm preparing a settlement agreement. I'll name it my trial brief, all in one. Here we go. All of the things that need to be determined to conclude this divorce in September of 2022. This is November 2024. Going back to my trial brief, it was 25 pages, a paragraph, a few paragraphs describing how I reached each conclusion in my settlement agreement. Along with my trial brief, it referenced 76 supporting documents and or videos or audio, which supported how I reached each of my conclusions in the settlement agreement. Linda States and Scott Glines never responded to my settlement agreement. My settlement agreement was delivered to the office of Linda States. Receipt was confirmed. She never responded. 10 days after the deadline date that I had given to respond to the settlement agreement, 10 days after that, I filed a civil lawsuit against Linda States. And I'll go into the civil lawsuit another time, but essentially it was for ongoing unnecessary legal expenses that I should not have had to incur if Linda States was ethical in her obligations. In any event, they never responded. In RFPD number 2 in April of 2023, I requested any and all documents related to why you did not respond to my settlement agreement, and essentially they denied receipt of my settlement agreement. I am a documenter. I had all of the emails, the communications between myself and her assistant, where Linda States and Scott Glines were CC'd on those emails. I had dropped off, it was a white binder. I had dropped it off at her office. I had the signature of the person who received the white binder. When all of this information was presented to them in discovery, their position changed then. It then became that I was trying to commit extortion. Not that I was trying to settle my divorce matter. They started accusing me of extortion. That I was looking to get everything out of the divorce. I was asking for 100% of everything, 100% of his future business. And if I didn't give everything, then I was threatening that I was going to make up charges against him and, try to have him thrown in jail. I did put in my settlement agreement that it was in his benefit to settle, because should this go to court, I will be bringing all of the child custody violations to the judge's attention, which potentially have years worth of jail time and or fines. Also, the perjury, repeated, ongoing perjury that I had proof of, also has a consequence of up to 4 years in jail. Yes, I did state that should this go to court, I will be pursuing those items. Those items were factual, provable, legal. In any event, I've learned the tricks. They created a he said, she said. They're saying I committed extortion. I'm saying I submitted a settlement agreement to settle this divorce, and they never responded. Now, a judge, I would think this would be a red flag. A settlement agreement was submitted and there was no response. No response. Red flag. Let's take a deeper look into this. Even though now they're claiming it's extortion, he said, she said. Let's take a look. Why was there no settlement agreement pursued? Perhaps it's bad faith. If someone is not looking to settle, why is that? My motion to compel, I repeatedly begged
In
the
2
judge
miles, take exit 133B to merge onto CA 180 toward Kings Canyon.
My settlement agreement. I begged him 3 times, I think, in my motion to compel, 75 pages. Please read my settlement agreement for yourself. Full transparency. Please read my settlement agreement. This was not extortion. His decision to my motion to compel, again, I was fined $500 for not including all of the verbiage as per rule, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'll finish this another time. I just hate getting worked up. I'm almost at the football game. Yes.
Please pass complete to Jesse Nelson over the middle.
So my son's game is over. Unfortunately, our team lost. I am heading back to Sac City College. I have to pick up my son. The bus takes the players there. I'll pick him up from there because he doesn't have a car. So that's about a 3-hour drive. And then I think he's going to go to his girlfriend's house tonight, not Folsom. So I'll take him there. And then I have to be back by 10:30 to pick up my daughter when she gets out of work. And it's 4:37 right now. So I've got enough time to do it all.